You know what I'm saying? Drop a like, leave a comment, let me know you're in here. We finna have fun tonight.
What am Logic's back with another one. Today we're going to dive further into the Birdman's new series, another one exposing the grift about the ugly female character thing. I've talked about this a few times with his Exposing the Grift series. I do kind of see something where it's like, it sometimes, not all the time, there's instances where it feels like they go out of their way to make characters unattractive. Now, do they have to be? No, but it is something that's like, I wonder why they're making that decision. There is sometimes ways that they, like I said, the Fable main protagonist seems like she's conventionally unattractive. Then kind of Mortal Kombat is like these little things with even like Sindel and Tanya and Katana. It just seems like they did something where it's like, let's make her a little bit less attractive, where they could have just made her more attractive. Those are the three, four examples I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know. It's of course, like I said, it's not about like every female in the game has to be attractive. It's just something is just kind of like, I do wonder if there's something to this, because usually what we've seen in video games is female characters are a little bit, they try to make them sex symbols, and even if they're not technically a sex symbol in the game to please men, they do make them attractive and some, you know, conventionally attractive. But I'm here to hear this out because it's something I'm kind of like, I do have my questions about it. So let's see what Birdman got to say. He usually is can lay out his perspective pretty well, whether you agree with it or not. He does make good points. So before we do that, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, if not one, then all three. Now let's get to the video.
Hi Grizz. This video received a lot of comments, so I'm sorry
Jesus.
I wasn't able to answer your question as I simply missed it, but how about a video response? I think...
Let's read it. So the video response to this comment that somebody left on one of his videos from Exposing the Grift says, "Look, I respect you, Birdman, and your opinions. However, let's be frank. People are just honestly tired of things that interject realism in an otherwise fictional realms. Why is it you talk about these trailers, but there wasn't any discussion or video when Dragon Age Veilguard or Dustborn has showed up? They also had grifters pushing, quote, grifters pushing anti-woke narrative. What makes these two different? Is it that despite the claims, people have gotten sick of having to see attempts at realism when we want to escape from reality and not have to see characters that look like those very people? The issue everyone has is the characters should look appealing, not look like they're trying to go to some rally. I mean, let's be frank. We don't see any big, hairy, fat, ugly men as main characters. They're still the strong, sexy, muscular men they always been. Why would that be okay to do, but wanting more physically appealing females is considered being a grifter. Disagree. It Takes Two, the male protagonist was a fat guy. What else? There's I just played State of Emergency. The main character on the front cover is fat, and I think his stomach is sticking out, I believe, under a wife beater. Yeah, they have male protagonists that aren't necessarily big, strong, masculine men. I can name those too. So let's see.
Grizz asks a question that
You can make CJ fat and ugly on San Andreas.
is worth responding to because there's a larger issue happening here that warrants analysis. But before we get to that, let me answer Grizz's question. In my video, Exposing the Grift, What is Grifting, I spoke about the trailers for The Witcher and Intergalactic and not Dragon Age because, well, I'd seen those trailers. In fact, the footage I used in that video for The Witcher was literally from my stream of the Game Awards. I am speaking about something I actually witnessed.
Now that's curious because I know he's big in gaming. I don't know why he hadn't seen. To be fair, I haven't seen the Dragon Age trailer, and I also don't care about the game. So if he didn't come across the trailer, which I don't know why you wouldn't.
You can probably...
He probably consumes more of this type of media than I do. I don't know why he wouldn't have seen it. I've heard about the Dragon Age stuff, just didn't look into it because the anti-woke people make everything just hard to watch.
see where I'm going with this. I have not played, nor do I have any interest in playing Dragon Age Veilguard.
There we go. I'm not interested in it, so I wasn't like, let me go look at the trailer for a game I don't care about because the anti-woke crowd is mad. Like, that's just not how I move, so that's fair. I hadn't seen it either. I just see people talking shit about it, upset.
I know almost nothing about the game outside of me retweeting the cynical.
Is it just me, or our character creation screen is nothing but a stupid narcissistic waste of time? This is what I mean when I call this dude a grifter. The Addo second, this became controversial. Here he comes with a brain dead shit take.
Grifter whining about this game, which pissed off a plastic spoon for some reason. You see, I prefer science fiction. It's
my top 10 movies of all time. Outside of the top 3 list, this is malleable and subject to change. Okay, so it's top 10.
It's my favorite genre in anything, from my favorite novel to my favorite movie and my favorite video game.
Mass Effect 2.
Look at that. It's another BioWare game, and a game that neatly makes my point.
My favorite character in my favorite game. She's bald, guys. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 is the shit.
I have always avoided the Dragon Age games because I prefer Mass Effect. The games have very similar mechanics, including a morality system and the ability to create a character, but I'm just not that into fantasy. So believe me when I say I didn't fail to mention Dragon Age because of malicious intent. I failed to mention Dragon Age because I simply couldn't care less about that game and basically forgot it exists. And hell, I don't even know what a Dustborn is. I had to look it up.
Like, this is the thing. I only knew about Dustborn because the anti-woke people kept getting mad at. I seen clips of this game, but I didn't know what it was. So I had to go in and look and see what Dustborn was. And this is a game that seems like it's focused on inclusivity and diversity. It seems like they just made it for that purpose and that purpose alone. That's what it seems like. So this is an example, and it didn't do well. There you go. It was just blatant, like, look, we got everybody included, and it's gay people, blah, 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 all that. And that's why it only is even known of. Outside of that, I didn't know shit about this game.
For this video, and I still couldn't tell you what the controversy surrounding this game was about. I fired up Steam to peruse the reviews for it and came away with 73% of all purchasers rated it positively. So my takeaway is that the loud minority is being loud again, likely about a non-issue that I can't actually be about.
Now, I do wonder if they were trolls. I wonder if he read the reviews, because sometimes people troll Steam reviews.
To research, but if I did, it would probably be a non-issue. But here's where I take issue with your comment, Grizz, and we finally get to the thesis of this video. I don't think anywhere in my previous video I made the case that wanting appealing female characters makes someone a grifter. I'm almost certain my point was that grifters are people that take advantage of true believers. That is to say, in this context, a grifter would pretend to be upset about so-called unappealing female characters so that people like you, who are actually upset about it, will click their video and give them money. I don't think it's a coincidence that every single one of these people are making the same argument at the exact same time. I mean, don't you find it strange that all these people all agree on the exact same topics more often than not? Does that seem organic to you? I have real friends in real life.
I don't know how fair it is to say that, because there's gonna be people that agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's going to be a circle of people that have similar ideas, and they're going to express them and more or less agree on certain things. I don't think it's fair to say that they all agree with each other, so it might not be organic. I don't know how fair that is to say.
And 4 younger brothers, and let me tell you, it would be a miracle to get all of us to agree on anything as often as these people agree on these kinds of topics.
I guess that's true too. It's like he said, how often they always agree on everything. It's like the same. Nobody ever has a different take on a movie. Like, when the trailer comes out, they all bash it, and then when the movie turns out to not be what it is, then they all like kind of ignore the fact that they was trying to shit on it, and it is kind of.
It's almost like if one of them steps out of line, they're no longer in the club.
We just talked about One Piece for 5 minutes. Yes or no?
We didn't.
Yes,
One Piece was used, but we didn't talk about it.
No.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Don't act like that's not what we do.
I don't build a narrative. I
You're
give
an
my
absolute
opinion.
fucking.
You are hard. We do. You've made the same fucking video on the same topic at least 7 times a week, Ryan. And you're gonna act like we don't do that.
I talk about, yeah, I
Brie
talk
Larson
about.
says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
But I've digressed for too long. Ugly female characters. Let's get to it. I saw something in Grizz's comment that I've been seeing rather often recently, and that's this idea that male characters in video games are always appealing and that female characters are not. As a matter of fact, I recently replied to someone else saying this exact thing and provided examples that dispel this notion.
Shit.
Replied to someone.
I agree with all your points up till here, and yes, that women is ugly. That I guess he said that woman. I guess he meant woman. I prefer women with a more feminine touch to it. I don't know. People, y'all, I did not know people just grammar was this terrible in general. Was never a fan of tomboys, which most of those women, if not all of them, you showed after are, not my cup of tea. Like, what is this sentence structure? Oh, he got R, period, not my cup of tea. Like, what are you saying? That's why I like Princess Peach on the Mario movie. She looks feminine, spelled feminine wrong, and is badass at the same time. That's why we need more of those and less of that. I'm against the entire idea of a woman needing to look manly in order to do badass things. Oldest example we have is Lara Croft. That's badass done right. That is not the oldest fucking example. What are y'all talking about? We literally have like Horizon Forbidden West. Well, Aloy is feminine, but they're dressed in a different time. They can't dress how we dress today because it's like hundreds of years in the future or whatnot, or thousands. I don't remember. But she's still feminine and she's badass. It's countless. For him to say Princess Peach is fucking weird because she's not even supposed to look like a regular person. They're all proportionally small people and stuff and very cartoonish. So it's weird that she chose her. And the woman from the Intergalactic trailer, she's not unattractive. She just doesn't have long hair. She's not ugly. She just didn't have long hair.
Someone else saying this exact thing and provided examples that dispel this notion.
This is about denying men eye candy.
One woman in the trailer denies men eye candy, and movies aren't meant for eye candy. That's not always what the goal is. And this is a kid's movie.
It's about the male game.
My friend, there's a woman back here. Like, she's right there. There are 4 people in the image. And that's what I was saying, is that there are 4 people, but we know which one he was focused on. This woman is an Oscar nominee, if I'm not mistaken. So it seems like she was just the right person for the part. You know, there are other frames from the trailer they could have chosen, but they went with this one, and we know why. And it's not just because she's fat, man. I mean, there's a black woman in the Sonic movie. She's fucking beautiful, gorgeous, stunning.
Tika Sumpter.
I wonder what they have to say about her.
Anyone that actually plays games could tell you the ratio of unappealing males to unappealing females is far more slanted towards ugly male characters. Trevor is one of the 3 main characters in one of the biggest games of all time. I don't really think I need to explain why he's unattractive, as it seems intuitive.
Look, Deborah! Floyd! Will you marry me? Get out of my condo!
But what about the mascot of Nintendo? A pudgy, short Italian immigrant with a heavy accent and a nose the size of a mango? Super hot, apparently. I look at Kratos from God of War and I don't see a sexually appealing man, but a grizzled old man, a veteran of war, and someone who's tired. My point is, in most games, there's a wide variety of male characters with a wide range of appearances. The idea that there are no main male characters that are fat and hairy depends on your definition of fat and hairy. And that's really the crux of the issue.
They almost usually if there's a game with a bunch of males in it anyway, like these fighting games and, you know, these adventure games with a bunch of protagonists, somebody is probably going to be fat with the beard. Like, they do that, like, almost all the time.
Personal preferences. If I may speak about myself for a moment, I don't care what a
I wonder why Gyarados is one of his favorite characters. That's so random to like Gyarados. That's
character in a
funny.
video game looks like. I've said this before, but in a game like, say, Intergalactic, I'm going to be looking at the main character from behind almost the entire game, and by extension, I'll actually be looking at the monsters I'm fighting, which is a little trick I picked up as a Street Fighter player. If you're looking at your character and not your opponent, you're very likely bad at the game. Even in a game where the main character's design was almost assuredly titillation, like, oh, I don't know, Stellar Blade, this was my reaction to Eve.
10 out of 10, we win.
For me, it's all a big joke.
It
Near
is
nudity
funny because they went out of their way to do that shit. Like, that was so intentional.
and overtly sexual characters in video games
funny.
is something to laugh at for me. I don't get my rocks off from fictional characters made out of pixels on a
Me, it's
screen.
just funny. Because
By
look
the
how
15th
who stands on a ladder like that?
Get my rocks off from fictional characters made out of pixels
Look
on
how
a
she's
screen.
on the ladder, bro.
By the 15th hour, my main concern was getting my ass kicked by Raven for the past 2 hours due to the insane difficulty spike. But that's a story for another time.
First of all,
You see,
that's her health
I
at
care
the
about the
top. That's
game,
crazy.
the mechanics, the story. What Eve looked like was not even a tertiary concern to me as a player. It could be
I do say, like, sometimes it's cool. Like, in Cyberpunk, I was like, oh, Pan Am, she's pretty. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's cool. I picked a male character. You get to pick a love interest. I chose Pan Am because I'm like, she look good. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, it is what it is. But like you said, I don't really focus on what my character looks like. I care about the way they play. It Takes Two. I love that game. I didn't care about what them characters looked like before they was the toys or after or when they were toys. You was a fat man that was married. It was like, who cares? The game was fun. Like
that I'm a mature adult that has
didn't
healthy
care. The game
relationships
was
with
fun.
women, but I don't even view video game characters as women. This was precisely my issue with Anita
yeah, that's true. I don't like when I played like even what Nariko what's that game? God, I forgot Nariko's name of her game. Heavenly Sword. I didn't care about how she looked. Tomb Raider, when I played Tomb Raider, I wasn't like, man, how hot is she going to be? I didn't care. When I saw Star Wars Outlaws, I liked how the game looked. I didn't care about the girl and how attractive she was or unattractive she was. Now, like I said, I have noticed sometimes it feels like they go out of their way to make women unattractive. That's weird. When I play Mortal Kombat, I'm saying, why does none of the females seem attractive? Like, it seems like they kind of did something with their teeth or did something with their eyes to just make them just a bit more unattractive. And it felt like they did that with all of the characters. So it was weird to me. If it was one or two and then there was some that was like really attractive, I'd be like, okay, you know, they just got a diverse cast of women. But it seems like they kind of tweaked all of the women to be unattractive, and that was weird. The Fable girl, it could just be, I saw different pictures where she didn't look as unattractive, but I got to see more. But the Fable, she is only one character, so maybe there's more that's attractive or not. But she looks like a person you could meet in real life too. So you kind of got to take it for what it is. It's like, oh, well, she's just not the most conventionally attractive woman in the game. But is the game good? I would care less. I couldn't care less. If the game played well, I couldn't care less.
Sarkeesian's positions all those years ago. Video game characters are not actually women. They're ones and zeros. So this idea that what we do to these characters in games matters for the real world has always been a laughable idea to me. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm talking about this topic. I literally don't care what original characters look like. To me, they are a vehicle used to explore the world of a game.
It's finding out what men like and purposely not giving it to us and saying, see, this is what you get.
It's so stupid when they say that, though, because video games are not only for men. Do you think gaming would be as big as it is if they only appealed to men that want beautiful women in games? If that was all they tried to make in video games, they would not make as much money. These people want to make money. Why wouldn't they appeal to a broad audience of people to maximize their profits? Why don't they ever think about that? Y'all think that they're going to excel to the heights that they've excelled to only caring about beautiful women because men like that? Get the fuck out of here.
When I look at Ciri in The Witcher 4, first of all, I don't see anything other than a conventionally attractive character.
And she is conventionally attractive. Like, she's not ugly.
I mean,
I feel like the complaint at this point with Ciri is that she's a woman, period, and at taking the mantle after Geralt. But I don't even know the lore, but I knew I couldn't jump the gun with that game because I knew the lore was deep. And then I saw her have white hair. I'm like, there must be something between Geralt and her that he's no longer the protagonist and she is. I knew, I had an inkling when I saw that trailer. I was like, I don't think they just swapped him out with a woman just for shits and giggles. I didn't believe that. Lo and behold, that's not what happened. I think to my understanding, she got handed the mantle of whatever Geralt was at that point in time, and he passed it on to her. So it was the progression of the story.
Get the snap reaction to Jordan in Intergalactic.
Damn, he know her name.
Visually, it's easy to see what makes these people whine.
Right, big eyebrows
A
and no hair.
shaved head.
Yeah.
Which I maintain is a stupid-ass criticism because women with shaved heads is as common to science fiction as lasers and robots are. Furiosa, Evie, Ellen Ripley, the Dora Milaje, the Bene Gesserit in Dune, Chara in The Matrix Reloaded, Nebula, Lieutenant Ilia in Star Trek, The Ancient One, this tall glass of grade A Welch's grape from The Fifth Element. Look, if I named all the bald women in sci-fi, we'd be here all day.
She is pretty.
The point
She's
is,
pretty.
people crying about this are exposing themselves as not being fans of sci-fi, as this design is incredibly common for the genre.
I was just gonna say that is interesting because that genre in particular, it seems like that's mostly where it happens.
Which of course means they likely weren't even going to buy the game in the first place.
They're gonna buy it. It's a Naughty Dog game.
But again, I digress. Ciri is not bald. She has a head full of hair. So what are we talking about again?
It's because she's a woman.
That's right. That she's apparently masculine because she's a Witcher now. But again, this just exposes these people as not actually playing the games they're complaining about because Ciri became a Witcher in one of the endings of The Witcher 3.
That's what I said. I'm like, yeah, she handed it down.
It's yours.
I started The Witcher, y'all, but I
A
couldn't
witch's
finish it.
silver sword.
Like it?
It's not my cup of
It's
tea.
beautiful. May I?
Not here. You'll have ample opportunity soon enough, Witcher.
What's this inscription?
An old Witcher's motto. Had a sword like this once myself, but this one's better. Much better.
Let's try it out then.
So there you go. This is a textbook example of how the grift works. People who clearly have
All the shills are out hyping up Witcher 4. All the honest people saw they made the main character a woman who breaks lore in her new role and who was made significantly uglier than she used to be. Both are red flags for an extremely woke game. How did they make her more unattractive when the graphics are clearly 2 generations apart, damn near? I think The Witcher came out PS3. I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not a Witcher guy. But I believe it came out PS3 and now we're on a 5. Why are y'all tripping about she's not more unattractive? They just upgraded her. She looks the same for a new generation on the console. She looks the same.
haven't even played these games talking about these games as if they're experts on them. You know, exactly what I didn't do for Dragon Age. And sure, you can make the point that since there are multiple endings for The Witcher 3, that these people may not have gotten the ending where
First of all, this said you won't say it. This is an industry level situation now. All major games will have female leads, even GTA. GTA has 2 leads. Why are you just acting like it's not? First of all, it's time GTA had a female lead. I'm sorry. I don't care about this type of stuff, but we've had GTA since the 90s. Why are you upset that it's a female finally? I would have expected them to been done something like that. They done had every other race. You didn't play as a gay person, but they had your story was revolved around the Ballad of Gay Tony and stuff like that. You've done everything in GTA but be a woman. Why is this a problem all of a sudden? That should be expected at this point. Not interested in playing as Ciri, so so with that I'm out. I never understand how, as a Witcher fan, you can't be interested in that. Yeah, that does seem antithetical because of how the story went, especially if you played The Witcher 3 and liked it, why would you be upset at her being a Witcher? Because I never found Ciri to be all that interesting at all. It's like if the next God of War game made you play as Atreus, why would I want to do that? Because Ciri is literally the protagonist of the Witcher world, and we shape her in this game. That's such a weird take. I think you kind of got to expect to play as Atreus in the next God of War. Like you shouldn't be shocked if that happened. And he's annoying as a kid that you got to play. He wasn't fun in Ragnarok. He's not fun to play with. But I don't see the big deal if he grows and matures and is more fun to play with or plays more like Kratos in the future, then it would be okay, I think.
She winds up becoming a Witcher, but I would counter with this. Who the hell plays a game with multiple endings and doesn't at least watch the other endings on YouTube? I mean, if you played a game as large as Witcher 3 and aren't doing multiple playthroughs, you have to at least be curious about what you missed out on, right?
That's very true. If you're not willing to play the other plot lines, if there's other ways to end the game and other routes you can take, like when I played The Quarry, Until Dawn, every game that you get to make choices, I needed to know the other choices. He's right. I don't know who does that. I that can't sit on my spirit. If I love the game enough, I'm not seeing what else can happen if I'm not going to go back and play it myself. I need to know that shit.
The inclusion of so-called ugly female characters in media properties is, in my opinion, a whatever thing. Beauty standards are subjective and often dictated by cultural norms that don't encompass the full spectrum of the human experience.
Yeah, I do feel like they did Mary Jane bogus in Spider-Man. Like she was the first Spider-Man. Mary Jane wasn't. They didn't make her all that attractive, and then in 2, they made her more unattractive, which was so odd. It was they literally went out of their way to make her more unattractive.
What you like may not be what I like.
That was petty because Aloy don't look like that, and the girl from Star Wars Outlaws isn't unattractive. They just picked her making a weird face.
But by embracing characters who defy conventional beauty norms, creators not only challenge audiences to broaden their perspectives, but also provide relatable figures for those of us who have felt excluded or undervalued.
Yeah, that's why
this is literally why Black Panther exists, because Stan Lee thought there weren't enough positive representations of black people in comics. This representation underscores the idea that value and worth are not determined by appearance, but by character, intellect, and actions. Allowing the physical appearance of a character to color your opinion of a media property is both short-sighted and reductive. A character's design is a deliberate choice made to serve a story or reflect a particular form of characterization, a perfect example being Ellen Ripley in Alien 3, who shaved her head because of the events in the story, not to piss off the audience or stick it to men that only like women with long hair. The outright dismissal of a property based on characters like these overlooks the intention of the story, reducing complex, multifaceted works to simple visual judgments. A truly engaging narrative.
It's kind of crazy because this the same woman. Oh, he got her for all her games. This Deborah Wilson. She's been going crazy in the video game space. I don't know a lot of these other women. Do you have the girl from Control up here? Why are you acting like she's
thrives on
unattractive?
Diversity in its characters, giving us a richer tapestry of the human experience and a more lived-in world. By having a variety of appearances in these properties, creators allow audiences to see beauty in diversity. In my view, compelling storytelling takes precedence over superficial aesthetics, allowing media properties to be appreciated for their artistic and thematic merits rather than being reduced to caricatures to ridicule by people who don't share our love for these properties. I mean, seriously.
Because when you think about it, if you're focused only on how a person looks and then you check out of the game immediately, you literally can be missing out on some great games. If you're like, oh, the female protagonist is black, fuck it, I'm not playing it. Oh, she's ugly, fuck it, I'm not playing it. Like, you might be missing one of the best games you ever played. And like he said, that's why I said, I'm like, is the game good? I care about that. However they look comes after the fact. Like, imagine if you just don't play Horizon. If you like adventure games like that, you know what I'm saying? Linear story adventure games, and you be like, Aloy's, you can't see any of her body, and she's not that attractive. Fuck that. That game is so good, especially the first one. Like, it's so good. I love Horizon. And it's like, you just don't play it because she's not conventionally attractive or isn't half naked. Like, you're just missing out. You're hurting yourself. And like he said, accepting these differences in characters can broaden you to be accepting to more experiences in general because you don't know what you're missing. And she's a good character. Fuck how she looks. She's a good character too. So imagine if you just be like, fuck that, she's not attractive. It's crazy.
Ask yourselves, how many times have you heard people shit on anime as if it's not one of the most diverse forms of storytelling? And to the people that are actually upset about so-called ugly female characters in games, I find it hard to empathize with you. But I will say, so do grifters. They don't believe in this stuff. That's why this was Will's take, and nothing to do with Dragon Age as a game. Just jumping on the hate.
It is weird because why would creating a character be narcissistic and a waste of time? If I want my character to look a certain way, so they're giving me the option to tell a story that I want to tell with the person I want to tell it with. Why is that narcissistic? Because a lot of people don't necessarily make their character look like them. Not necessarily. I don't know the percentage of how people approach creating characters, but some people don't choose to make their character look like them. They want to make them look however the fuck they want to look to tell the story they want to tell. And that's the whole point. And you think it's a waste of time? What the fuck are you talking about? How do you even enjoy video games and have this type of take? That's ridiculous.
Hate train, because that's where the outrage was. And by extension, that's where the clicks are. And I get it. Having someone speak your thoughts on a large platform may be cathartic, but these people are using you. They are not one of you. They just like your money. So they won't challenge you and instead seek to nurture the negative emotions you feel towards these concepts, so you keep feeding them clicks, attention, money, views.
There's an argument to be made that content creators of all shapes and sizes and beliefs can do the same thing. The reason I accept it from somebody like Birdman is because you don't always know the take he's going to have on something. I watch a lot of his content, and he says things that aren't generally accepted. Like, he literally will go against the grain if he really feels that way about something, and he'll say why. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was shitting on the MCU, the last phase. He made a whole, I think it was like a 40-minute long video in defense of that phase of the MCU. So I don't know what the comments look like or if it got ratioed with dislikes or anything like that. He defended it. He thinks Venom is like one of the worst superhero movies ever. Like, I don't like Venom, but it wasn't that bad to me. I don't think it was one of the worst, but he hates it. Like, hates it. I don't think it's one of the worst, but he hates it. And I don't think a lot of people hated it. I think some people liked it and thought it was okay. And then there's people that didn't like it, but he hates it. And he said that. So like, he goes against the grain if he feels a way about something. So he doesn't feed a certain audience with this content, which is why he does get a lot of dissenting opinions in his comment section, which leads him to make videos like this.
But I challenge you. I challenge you. I challenge you to judge a game or a movie or a TV show on the basis of its actual content rather than how much you want to sleep with the main character. Because you already do that when it's a guy that looks like this. Sleep with the main character. Because you already do that when it's a guy that looks like this.
That's true. You're willing to accept it with no questions asked. I think that was a good video, man. I do think it was a good video. And he even, like, you'll see I went into it. I believe the whole thing with the making women ugly in games. Sometimes I feel like it is heavy-handed. He made me think about it a little bit more. But I still hold the belief that sometimes some of these developers do go out of their way to kind of do things. And it's not that it diminishes the quality. Like I said, there's no attractive females in Mortal Kombat, in my opinion. Like, it seems like they went out of their way to make some of them unattractive, but it's not gonna stop me from playing the game. I'm not gonna make a video about it. It's just like, okay, that was not a good idea, but it has nothing to do with the quality of the game. Mortal Kombat's issues come from everything but how the women look. You know what I'm saying? And it's mechanically it's a good game to play, but they have other issues. So there's that. Fable, if you like Fable, I don't see why you would rob yourself from playing the newest Fable, because the protagonist is unattractive. Whatever. So, you know, I'm not gonna ever let that dictate me approaching a game. Intergalactic, I felt like, knowing Neil Druckmann, I just felt like it was that he might have had a hand in this, and knowing where he gets his beliefs and how he operates. We'll see. I don't even know if I need to look into the role he played in this game, if he played any at all. But I do think that Naughty Dog has had a track record of doing certain things that was a little, it's like, okay, y'all kind of reaching, but whatever. They're gonna make their character. If the game looks good, I'm gonna play it. I don't care. I'm gonna play it. It's a new IP. It's time Naughty Dog had a new IP. I'm gonna play it if it looks good. If it don't look good, then I'm not gonna play. But it's not because she's bald or she's a woman. That's ridiculous. But I hope anybody that agrees or disagrees with me looked at this video and saw that I think that there's some points to be made. And if you are one of those people that think that, oh, women, woke, bald, woke, ugly, woke, like just judge the game on the game, not the appearance of the character. Like he said, I think that if you accept people that are maybe unappealing to you off first sight, but enjoy the game, it'll make you have a different appreciation for the choice that they made to make that character look the way they look, because there's other redeeming qualities that matter more. And then the game itself, if the game is good, you're gonna not care about how they look, and that'll open you up to play more games instead of focusing on what the physicality of these characters are. But if you made it to this point in the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, if not one, then all three, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.